Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Neo-Spacian Yugioh deck profile for December 2018. Wanted to bring an update to this deck profile with the release of the Soul Fusion Special Edition, where we received Neo-Space Connector, the newest line for the Neo-Spacian deck, which will be receiving more support in the Savage Strike Booster Pack, so definitely look forward to that. It's a really fun deck. For those of you that are familiar with the Neo-Spacians, having to deal with contact fusion and just all the different fusion plays you can do with Neos and all of the different Neo-Spacians you run. With this update, like I said, I wanted to do one just for the fact that we have Neo-Space Connector now. Definitely look forward to another update when Savage Strike is released. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, I run 3 Elemental Hero Neos. Now the number of Neos you run in the deck can differ. If you want to run 2 Neos instead of just 3, you can obviously adjust the amount of different Neo-Spacian monsters you run. Contrasted to Neos. These numbers will probably also likely change when we get more of the different support in Savage Strike, just number-wise, but it helps just for the fact that very easy to special summon from the graveyard and needed also for your contact fusion into your different Neo-Spacian monsters. I also run 3 of the new Neo-Space Connector. Your level 4 warrior monster, if this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 Neo-Spacian monster, 1 Elemental Hero Neos from your hand or deck in defense. You can tribute this card, then target 1 Neo-Spacian monster or Elemental Hero Neos in your graveyard, special summon it in defense. You can only use this of each effect of Neo-Space Connector once per turn. This card sets up so many plays now in the Neo-Spacian deck. Just being able to grab whatever resources you need, and then if you have any in the graveyard, basically if you maybe sent them there with Convert Contact or any of your other cards, you have your contact play made with this card alone. So definite 3 of in the deck. It's just very helpful with the plays you can do with this card overall in this deck. I also run 3 Elemental Hero Prisma. Still like running this card currently, just with, like I said, with the support we have for the deck so far. It helps just for taking the name and setting up your graveyard plays for all your Neo-Spacian monsters to use with some of the other spells, which we'll get to later on in the video. So definitely like making use of Prisma in the deck still. And then getting on to the Neo-Spacian monsters, I run 2 Neo-Spacian Air Hummingbird. For Air Neos, this is your definite one you want to go for. Play-wise, Air Neos is very good, and it just has life point gain that can help for sure with a lot of your different plays you want to go for. So definite 2 of. The numbers for the Neo-Spacians can obviously differ, but we'll talk about that in just a second when we get through the rest of them. 2 Neo-Spacian Aqua Dolphin. Now this one combined with Neo-Space Connector in a lot of different decks is going to make for a lot of different plays. Hopefully come next ban list we don't see Aqua Dolphin completely removed. Otherwise I'll have to be working on a Neo-Spacian deck with no Aqua Dolphin, but we'll have to wait and see. But just another Neo-Spacian going into Aqua Neos and some of our other fusions as well. Plus the hand effect that Aqua Dolphin has definitely does come in handy also. So another 2 of for sure with that one. I also run 2 Neo-Spacian Grand Mole. Very helpful. Very great to see this card just, completely removed off the ban list number-wise. You can mix around the number of ratios you want for Grand Mole with your numbers as well. With the bounce effect, this card is just really good in the deck as a whole compared to all the other effects of the Neo-Spacian monsters. And then for the 1-ofs, I run 1 Dark Panther and 1 Flare Scarab. Flare Scarab has attack gain for spell and traps your opponent controls, and Dark Panther can target face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of this turn. This card's name becomes that monster's original name. Also replace the effect with that monster's original effect, if any. I run 1-ofs of these. They're good. Plus going into Nebula Neos with Dark Panther is one of our big plays for sure. But you have options to search out these cards for those plays now. So 1-ofs, I think, are pretty much fine for this overall. If you want to run Galonios, you can switch around some of the other numbers with your 2-ofs in the deck, mix and match those numbers, and just all the numbers in general with the Neo-Spacians. These were the numbers I found most preferred with all of them in the deck to run, but like I said, if you have other numbers you prefer, and like I said, if you want to run Galonios, you can swap those around for sure. And then lastly, for the monsters, 2 Honest Neos. It just works really well with the hero monsters you can make in this deck. Just hitting big numbers for sure with the plus 2,500 can really make your plays for all your games. So definite 2 of this in the deck also. And that is it for the monsters. Tried to keep it as pure of a, Elemental Hero Neo-Spacian build as I could, support-wise, just to make it all the more fun. Like I said, this card really helps with so many of your plays now, so definite 3 of in the deck for sure. But moving on to the spells, I run 3 Convert Contact. If you control no monsters, you send 2 Neo-Spacian monsters from your hand and 1 from your deck to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. Now, if you can get that Neo-Spacian in your graveyard and then be able to use your Neo-Space connector to make, to basically get out Neos, then tribute this, just special summon the Neo-Spacian. You have your Contact Fusion right then and there, so very helpful. And the draw 2 off of Convert Contact just helps overall that much more. And I also run 3 Miracle Contact. You shuffle into your deck from your hand, field, or graveyard the fusion monsters that are listed on an Elemental Hero fusion monster that lists Elemental Hero Neos as fusion material. Then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. Just another great way to fusion summon them out contact-wise and not go by the traditional means for your contact fusion, but very, very helpful since you shuffle from your hand, field, or graveyard for it, so you have options available to you in all those locations depending on where you use those monsters for. And I also run 3 Contact Gate. This number might change when we get the rest of the support, dropping it down to 2. You banish 2 Neo-Spacian monsters with different names from your graveyard to special summon 2 Neo-Spacian monsters with different names from your hand, deck, and or graveyard. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. And if a face-up fusion monster that lists this Elemental Hero Neos as monsters returns from the field to the extra deck, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon one of your banished Neo-Spacian monsters. You go activate 1 Contact Gate per turn. It's very, very helpful for the special summon. Once again, going back to the MVP of this video, Neo-Space Connector, just setting up your bigger fusion plays, the ones that require 2 Neo-Spacians, can definitely be made much more plausible with this card for sure. So very helpful for the special summon than just Connector being able to search out Neos for your play, which is a much faster way to get out Neos as well. Also run 3 emergency call, whether you grab Prisma or, just search out Neos so you don't end up having to draw it, or even just searching out your Honest Neos so you don't have to draw that as well and have that hand trap available to you. 3 emergency call definitely does come in handy in the deck. Same goes for the 2-0 Oversoul. If you have normal monster Neos in your graveyard, this easy special summon off of this card definitely does help for sure. Just getting a strong monster back on the field, or just getting it onto the field if you don't have any of the other spell cards to use for contact fusing into your fusion monsters. And I also run 2 Neo-Space. Now this number, if you have instant Neo-Space, I considered, maybe putting in Soul Charge and then 1 instant Neo-Space. Compared to running the field spell, I like it for the boost power. Sometimes you want to get off your shuffle effect though, so just play around when you want that shuffle, especially with cards like Nebula Neos come up. You'll want to rely on that for sure. But the situation can vary. Sometimes I will like the Neo-Space on here just to keep some of my other Neo-Spacian Elemental Hero Neos monsters out on the field. And I also run 1 Hero Lives. You can't search out Neo-Space Connector, sadly, since it's not an Elemental Hero, but you can still search out Prisma, so you can set up plays very easily with this card just by not taking up a normal summon. And I also run 1 Reinforcements in the Army. This card searches out Neo-Space Connector, so enough said with it. And it's probably the last time, but I may be lying that I'll show this card in this way, in this manner, for the deck profile. And I also run 1 Monster Reborn, easy special summoning from the graveyard. Once again, you could be 1 card short, like including with the O Oversoul. If you can open up O Oversoul in this, have your graveyard set up, get out Neos with the O Oversoul, and then the Neo-Spacian with the Monster Reborn, and then there is your Contact Fusion. And lastly, I run 2 Call by the Grave. Now this is just, my preferred number for the Neo-Spacian deck. I know it's at 3 again on the ban list, but still like 2 main deck. If you want to side in a 3rd one, you can always have that option available to you too. But just to round out the deck, I like 2 Call by the Grave, so you can make sure to get off all your plays and not have to worry about any hand traps that might, put a stop to them. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra. Now, as for the Elemental Hero Neos fusions, I run one Aqua Neos. You have the option of going into this with the Aqua Dolphin, of course, and then having the hand fact that you can go off of for the once per turn, discard one card, destroy one random card from your opponent's hand, and then during the end phase, shuffle it into the extra deck. But if you have Neo-Space, you don't really have to worry too much about that problem and this card. I also run one Dark Neos for the Dark Panther option, because sometimes you definitely want to go into Nebula Neos more than this card, but sometimes you're just maybe short of Grand Mole, but you still want another option to go into, so Dark Neos definitely does come up. I also run two Grand Neos just for the, the bounce effect. It definitely does help. You can target one monster in your... basically, you target one monster your opponent controls, return that target to the hand, and during the end phase, shuffle it into the deck. So it just helps for a once per turn bounce effect. Very useful for sure for getting rid of pesky monsters. And then for the bigger ones, I run one Nebula Neos. This is always one of my favorite new cards we received. I know we'll be getting a lot more different Neos fusions in the new pack, so definitely see and excited to see what the ratios for those cards will be with the deck as a whole. But Nebula Neos overall for the shuffle back and then the banish all cards on the field face down is very powerful for sure, so you can make full use of it. You just need Dark Panther and Grand Mole in the deck to use. Then for the other big ones, one Magma Neos and one Storm Neos, just so you have those other big options to work together with your Contact Gate spell. Like I said, this is the best way you can get these cards out to go for that fusion. Now, I don't have Air Neos, otherwise I would run it in the deck. Same goes for Flare Neos, and if you are going to run Glow Moss in the deck, you could put in Glow Neos. It all depends on what you want to take out from these last extra deck options I run, which we'll get to. Right now, I run one Land Fornicus and one Underclock Taker just for additional link plays to go into. Land Fornicus is in here because we do run Neos, which is a normal monster that you can't make with Underclock Taker. I also run one Nightmare Phoenix and one Nightmare Cerberus for other Link 2 options with the deck. And then for the Link 3 and 4, one Triple Burst and one Topologic Bomber Dragon for the other monsters in the deck. Now, like I said, Triple Burst doesn't need a normal monster. Just remember, Bomber does need effect monsters to make it. But I like having the Link options available to you. Same goes for the Exceed options with the level 4s we run. The Baguska does come in handy, and Mech Beast Grand Pulse for the level 3s, since all the Neo-Spacians are level 3 monsters. If you want to run Leviair, just for the banish options, you can do that as well. But if you wanted to put in Air Neos, Glow Neos, or Flare Neos, along with the numbers we talked about, you can just mix around these extra deck options. I want to remain as full of a fusion extra deck in this deck as possible, so these would be the ones I would consider taking out for those cards. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, once again, definitely excited for the new Neo support we'll be receiving. Just wanted to do an update to the deck profile with the new card that we received. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.